Hi, I'm redoing this front room. I put in some recessed lighting and such, new flooring, new paint, new door casings, new front door, and I wanted to show you how I did these door casings. I wanted PVC, this plastic, so that I could easily clean it. My teenage son on the old one, the old wood, it was always grungy and dirty and harder to clean. So I think that using PVC will be great for cleaning purposes, and I think it looks good. So it'll look better once I caulk up a few small cracks and make it look even better, but I just wanted to show you what I've done. So the inside jamb, this part right here, is a product I picked up from Home Depot, and it's like a coated MDF. I couldn't find like a good proper PVC jamb, but I found this plastic coated MDF. It was about 25 bucks a board. So that's what that is. And I just cut it obviously and nailed it in. You can see here, not perfect, but it'll be good enough, especially once it's caulked. So we got that, and then the jacks. I'm gonna call them jacks. I don't know if that's the right term, but these trim boards on the very ends, the verticals. For those, I used this 3 1/4 Craftsman casing. That's the Lowe's item number, 2597250. But piecing together the header, or the cap, I guess is the right word, I just laid it all out in the Lowe's aisle, and this is what I ended up with. So before I go outside real quick, I'm going to show you how I marked the overhang. I just got this 1/2 inch square piece. I just installed these verticals, so I'll just show you here. Basically, I just put that board there, marked it on the outside, put the board here, marked it on the outside, held that on there, and then ran a measuring tape across this outer edge to that mark that I just made. That's how I'm getting my header width or my cap width. So that's how I'm doing that. Now, as far as assembling the cap, let's walk outside. So the first piece is the main section of header, the main bulk of it, and that is this 9/16 by 5 1/4 Craftsman base. The Lowe's item number is 2597254. Those are about 25 bucks a stick of 8 feet. So that's the main piece. And then I've also got this, it was called blind stop. Don't really know what it was for, but it seems to fit well and I like it. So it's that 250273. So that guy right there. And then this thing called shingle mold. This looks like trim to me. I don't know why it's called shingle mold, but it is what it is. Surely someone out there knows. But all those parts are PVC, found in that same section at Lowe's. So those are the 3 components that you needed for assembling that cap. So again, there's my parts list. Obviously the 8-foot sticks are going to do more than one door except for those verticals. So I'm going to get all of those cut to length using the measurement that I already showed you how I'm going to take, and then I will come back and show you how I assemble it. Wanted to show you real quick. So I did cut the header piece to length and the stop piece to length. But as far as this wrapped trim goes, I want to wrap it around the edges. So the most precise way that I believe in my do-it-yourself unprofessional way would be to line up, to cut that bevel right there, this guy, and then line it up exactly where it's going to sit, and then hold it tight, and then come mark this inside edge of the bevel. So that's the most precise way that I've found to cut it for me and myself. So I'm going to do that now. Then I'm going to do the same thing with these outer wrap pieces, and maybe I'll show you that in just a second. So here's that shingle mold sitting on the saw. So I've got the bevel facing that way and this way that way. So obviously it needs to sit at this angle. So I've adjusted my miter to that angle. There's my little mark. So basically I'm going to cut right to that mark just like that. So that's the way I'm going to make that cut. Okay, one thing I do want to point out, looking here, this is the factory edge of this board, and the Craftsman trim and stuff like that. I guess I've used most of those. But those are not square and they're not well cut. So I cut a couple verticals in there and they didn't quite line up right. There's a bigger crack than I would have liked. I assume that was because my cut was a little crooked, but it's not. It's the factory edge. So don't count on that factory edge to be square. So back to that wrap piece. So what I've done to mark those is I've already cut the bevel. I've pre-cut that. Then I just come and I mark that inside edge right about there with a pen, holding it up to that board. Then I'm gonna do the other side and we're ready to assemble. Okay, I have my components cut here and ready to go. The way that I'm gonna hold this together is with super glue. This is what I've got. It's just some bulk order that I did off Amazon. I do some 3D printing and laser cutting, and I use a fair amount, not an obscene amount, but just do-it-yourself projects. But I ordered like a 50 pack or something like that. So that's what I'm going to use. You can use whatever you want. So the stop, the blind stop, it's going to go on this bottom edge, just like this. And I want the two back edges to be flush with each other, like that. So it is going to create that little bit of a lip in there. You could go back and make it flush like that, but then you either need to remove that extra material or it's going to leave a bit of a crack or space behind that cap board against the wall, and you're going to need to caulk that or do something to cover it up. But I kind of like the idea of the lip, and the reason is that I feel like maybe it might work. Like come Christmas time, we're always looking for a way to hold our Christmas cards and stuff and pictures that people send us in the mail. And I kind of feel like I could use that lip as a little easel to hold those in. So I'm going to try that this Christmas, but it will catch dust, but it is what it is. Not afraid of it. It's not going to be viewable anyway from most places in the room. So I want the back two edges to be flush. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to lay a little super glue, maybe 3 inches right here in this first corner, and I'm going to start that. I'm going to clamp it, get it all flush, like that, glue it, get it all flush, clamp it, let it set for 15, 20 seconds. Then I'm going to glue a little more and work my way down. And the reason I'm not going to do all at once is because I tried that and it got a little crooked because of the bow of the material. So I can do a few inches at a time, a third or a fourth of the board at a time. I can keep it all nice and flush along that back edge. So that's what I will do. No, that's not focusing now. There we go. Okay, so I glued those first few inches and I clamped it. It should be nice and clamped and held down by the glue. So now I'm gonna raise this up, scoot it over a little bit. I'm gonna lay some glue for maybe 8 or so inches in that groove. I'm gonna line it up, and then I'm gonna take these clamps off and I'm gonna clamp more. So up to the point where I glued. Okay, got the piece here. I get ready to that section. Probably gonna do that 2 more times until I get to the end. So I'll go about halfway between there and glue that and clamp it. And I'll come down to the end and do that. Okay, that blind stop is installed. It's nice and flush on the back edge. So now I'm gonna glue the wraps onto my top molding. So just like that, I'll glue that end on, I'll flip it over, I'll do the other end. So it's gonna be a 90-degree angle. And I just wanna line up those contours and edges as best I can. So I'm gonna glue those now. Again, with just super glue. Okay, that is all glued, one piece. So now I'm just gonna lay that up at the top. Actually, I'm gonna glue it first, but I can't really do that, as you can tell, while I'm holding my camera. So I'm gonna flush that up at the very top, glue that, and then install it just like that. And then you'll end up with something like this, which just gets put up there. Line up my marks that I made so that I know that it's centered. And then, sorry, I'm not very good at doing this one-handed. Try that. How's that sound? Yep. Perfect. And then a couple nails. Finish nails, and then when you're done, you're gonna want to caulk up all your imperfections unless you're a perfect carpenter. But if you are, or whatever you call a carpenter that works in PVC, I don't know what you call that. Anyways, then you're gonna want to caulk it to make it look like you know what you're doing. So there you are. That's my solution to PVC trim casings, and or you could do the same thing, I'm sure, with Craftsman capping with wood. But there you are. That's what I have to offer today. You take care.